Good afternoon, Easton. I am Carrie Rapolo, and this is the Shoveltown Scoop. Today is January 29th, 2016. On Monday the 25th, at the Board of Selectmen, we're presented with a community comparison report from David Colton, comparing budgets across 15 communities that are like Easton in similar population, taxation, and per capita income. 5 of those towns are surrounding towns that he refers to as core communities. This report compares expenditure data for education, police, fire, general government, and public works for fiscal year 14, as that is the latest available info from the Department of Revenue. You can find this report at the town's website, but here he is with his conclusion on where Easton stands amongst the 15 towns financially.
This report and this report over the last few years clearly demonstrates that. It's not really at this point debatable that our spending on any area in government is relative to our peers excessive or even average. It's below average. Relatively speaking, but among our departments, education, police, and public works are the best funded in 2014. And our reserve position, as we'll get into a little bit more in the budget, is way too low.
The next item on the agenda was a preliminary fiscal year 2017 budget presentation, also from Town Administrator David Colton. He painted a sobering picture of the reality of where the town of Easton stands financially, saying that this year has been the most challenging year since the Great Recession, also adding, without new reliable sources of revenue, we will not be able to present a budget maintaining service levels beyond the next year. Here he is talking about some recommendations he has for fiscal year 17, where he recommends adopting a 2% budget increase for the town, as well as moving forward with an override. He also suggests freeze hiring at the town and schools and considering fee increases for both the town and schools. Here is a clip from that presentation.
To build in room for attrition, to take the sting off of any reductions in terms of layoffs, because layoffs are expensive. Town is self-insured for unemployment compensation. So everybody we lay off, we have to now budget their unemployment compensation. So if you're going to lay off 3 people, you better lay off a 4th to pay for the unemployment. And then fee increases. We're going to do a comprehensive review of all of our fees on the town side. I'm recommending that the school department do the same thing. If we can take the burden off the taxpayer by increasing user fees and permit fees, then that's something that ought to be looked at very carefully.
Mr. Colton goes on to say that without the use of stabilization funds, the fiscal year 2017 budget would level fund all operating budgets, resulting in retrenchment and layoffs. Let's listen in regarding level funds and layoffs, specifically speaking about negative consequences on our schools.
Anybody who knows anything about budgets is if you level fund, that means that's a cut. Expenses go up every year. We have union contractual obligations to meet. So that budget would result in some retrenchment and layoffs. I don't have an estimate of what that would be. They would certainly be more significant in the school department than they would be on the town side. But there would be consequences to that budget, negative consequences.
As always, if you'd like to watch the Board of Selectmen meetings, you can find them on our website, which is www.eastoncat.org, and you can search for the Board of Selectmen from January 25th. So let's move on to some school news. Reminder that the school committee meeting scheduled for February 4th is holding a question and answer session for the community, and that will start at 5:30. That is the time for parents to come and speak up about the new start time proposals that the subcommittee has presented at the last meeting. That is held at Simmons Lecture Hall at Oliver Ames High School, and it is open to the public, and they encourage you all to go and offer some feedback. Also, a reminder that school vacation week is coming up February 15th through the 19th, And in case you need something for the kids to do that week, the NRT is hosting a camp called Arctic Adventures. That starts on Tuesday the 16th and runs through Thursday the 18th. You can join the NRT Naturalist for a fun-filled learning adventure. This vacation program will let you take a look at some of the most extreme cold weather animals from the sheep pasture and around the globe. Pre-registration is required and space is limited. All right, so let's take a look at the upcoming Oliver Ames High School sports schedule. So speaking of sports at the Oliver Ames High School, on Tuesday, the girls' basketball coach, Lainey Clement Holbrook, just celebrated her 634th career win, making her the all-time winningest girls' high school basketball coach in state history. The girls played their winning game at home against King Philip High School, and congratulations to the coach on her win and to the girls. And we have some photos here. Dan Less took a few of those, and then we have one from HockomockSports.com, where you can always go and find the latest schedule and standings for the high school sports as well. So the Easton Rec Department announces March Madness basketball for grades 6th through 8th. That one will be held at the Easton Middle School. You can find the form and more information at the town website. You just search for Recreation Department programs. And on March 4th, the Ames Free Library is hosting author Max Gladstone for a meet and greet. That will be at the Queesit House, where he will be discussing the art of science fiction and his work. Also, don't forget, the Easton has a farmer's market, and that's held over at Oliver Ames Hall on Saturdays from 10 to 2. This week will feature Dave from Cave Rock Alpacas, the Running Brook Winery, and New Biscotti people. They're also expected to have their regular vendors, jewelry vendors, Alley, and some produce from Langwater Farms. And we have an ECAT update. Something else to do for school vacation week. We are hosting a school vacation camp for middle school students interested in filmmaking and editing. You can call the station and ask for Jason Daniels. It's 508-230-7200, and that will be held during the week from Tuesday to Friday, the 16th and the 19th, and that runs on the mornings until about early afternoon. Also, we have a new For the Love of Words program coming up. That's with Rich Berg. It's going to air tonight at 8 p.m. And then next Wednesday, we have a new Consider It Local with Personal Best Karate, and that's going to air at 7 p.m. So that should do it this week for the Shoveltown Scoop. We will see you again here next week with some more information on Easton. Good night.